learn, experience yourself Mahaganapati. You'll be able to learn about Mahaganapati Paramborul, how to imbibe the attributes of Mahaganapati Paramborul and manifest completion in life, how to manifest the right reasoning in life, learning the science of oneness or Nityatva, and manifesting the power of feeding Ganesha, literally. And you might be wondering how you might be able to achieve this. One is by listening. Second, by internalizing, by applying these powerful manifestations and powerful cognitions in your life, by manifesting the powerful cognitions as a part of you, and with a darshan and initiation into the power of feeding Ganesha. So now let us first begin with understanding who is Mahaganapati Paramborul. There's a beautiful verse from the Ganesha Upanishad where it describes and praises Lord Ganesha and says, you have manifested as Bhumi, earth, you have manifested as Apas, water, you have manifested as Anala, fire, you have manifested as Anila, wind, and you have manifested as Nabha, sky or space. Therefore, O Ganapati, help us realize your essence in the manifested world. Therefore, O Ganapati, help us realize your essence as the source of speech. Mahaganapati Paramborul is worshipped by all sampradayas. He is the embodiment of auspiciousness, the embodiment of completion, the embodiment of joy, and the embodiment of love, and the remover of obstacles. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself has described, I can say the largest worshipped deity in India is Ganesha. Every street will have a Ganesha temple. And you don't need too much ritualistic or a highly arranged puja for him. Anybody can worship. Ganesha is the most worshipped god. And beautifully it's described how Devi just puts her muscle memory in the haldi, the turmeric, which she applied on her body, and the mehendi. And this is what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself had described, which she applied on her body and mehendi, and she just pulled both of her muscle memory out to make Ganapati and breathe life into it. And of course, then the child becomes alive. Because he is made out of only the matter, Adi Shakti, Prakriti, now Param needs to add the Purusha and the bioenergy into it. Paramashiva then tells to his ganas, all right, go and get any deity or any head that you can find. The first head, go and get it. And they bring an elephant head, all these ganas, and he fixes that head and adds his bioenergy. Once the baby is complete, Paramashiva himself breathed life into it. Then Ganesha was complete. Yes. So now let us watch this very brief video where we're going to be experiencing, seeing the message from this morning of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism on Ganesh Chaturthi, where he had allowed the world to literally experience Ganapati. So let's now watch this video.
Mahaganapati is cognize his astitva. He is alive very much, intensely, powerfully. In Mahakailasa, how much you are alive zillion times with more intensity. He is alive now. Listen, whether you are happy, sad, blissful, painful, good or bad, you feel, you exist. The feeling you exist is called easiness, tatata, nirvana. The existence state is nirvikalpa, nirvana, niranjana, nishkala. Kalatraya, dehatraya, avastatrayatita. Kalatraya, dehatraya, avastatraya, atita. Listen. Ganapati is the source of your very feeling you exist. You feel you exist. That feeling, that experience is from Ganapati. So understand, Ganapati exists zillion times more intensely. So bow down to his existence. Keep the Atmalinga in Sankalpa Mudra. Bow down to his existence. Through Ganapati Atharvasirsha Upanishad, now Ganapati will be landing in all of us. In the deity we have, in the Atmalinga you have, and in your Mooladhara Chakra, the source of your existence. On this auspicious day, I commit with you all. I'll give you all the experience of Ganapati. Understand? Not just worshipping. Experience of Ganapati. Not just puja. Experience of Ganapati. So bring Atmalinga in your hand in Sankalpa Mudra and keep all your three eyes open. See Ganapati manifesting now.
Yes. Now let us be introduced to Ganesha and how he represents all of the various auspicious qualities by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself from 2010.
Very form is a powerful representation of the cosmos. The yantra means the form, visual expression. It's a very powerful expression of the cosmic intelligence. If you see, he has four hands. In one, the right upper hand is holding the nose, the angusha. The left upper hand is holding the pasha. The right lower hand is holding the tusk, his own broken tusk. And the left lower hand, he has sweet. It's a very beautiful philosophical representation. See, the noose I has is a very small instrument which can control elephant. The huge elephant can be controlled just with that small noose. It is actually, it represents unclutching. Any size mind, elephant size mind can be controlled by a small key, unclutching. The noose represents unclutching. Unclutching is such a powerful key. It looks very small, but the mind, which is wild elephant, can be just controlled with a small noose, with small unclutching. Left hand, the pasha which he holds, pasha means attachment. He does not allow the thoughts to become attachment, engram. See, thoughts, if it becomes engram. Because his attachments are under his control, he does not allow thoughts to become engram. One side, thoughts are never becoming engram, they remain as thoughts because pasha is under his control. The other side, because of angusha, even from the thought unclutching happens. So his inner space is completely under his control because of the angusha and pasa. The upper two hands represents the completely peaceful, blissful inner space. And the lower right hand, which holds his own tusk, you need to know the history of the tusk. Once Vyasa requested Ganesha to write Mahabharata, largest poem ever written in the planet Earth, even now, still now, is Mahabharata. Longest and largest poem. Vyasa wants somebody to pen down, because when the flow happens, it's such an extemporaneous, spontaneous flow, he can't pen down. He has to just open it and somebody else has to pen down. He is not able to find anybody for his speed. So he asks Ganesha, can you pen down? Ganesha says, great, sure, I'll pen down. But the speed I write will be too much. If you are not able to cope up with my speed, I'll stop and go away. Then Vyasa puts a condition. All right, I understand. I am also putting a condition. You should write everything only after you understand. So agreement was prepared. So Vyasa's condition is, Ganesha will write only after completely understands, so that Vyasa will have a few seconds at least. So the agreement was ready. Vyasa is supposed to match with the speed of Ganesha, and Ganesha is supposed to understand and pen down everything Vyasa expresses. Suddenly, the Ganesha's pen broke. And now, because this class was not there in the agreement, what to do when the pen breaks? It is whose responsibility? Naturally not Vyasa's, Because Ganesha is only penning down. It is supposed to be his responsibility. But Ganesha can't miss. Because he has given, as per the agreement, Ganesha has to pen down everything. Even if he miss few seconds, some of the great important truths which Vyasa is expressing will be lost. It is happening in full speed. Banks of Saraswati. Writing is going on. Suddenly the pen broke. Now what to do? Ganesha, he has to complete, he can't miss. And he can't run for pen. If he runs for one more pen, he may miss few words. And he can't tell Vyasa, stop, stop, stop. I'll get another one pen. No. He immediately breaks his own tusk and starts writing. This shows two things. One, his spontaneous decision making. Two, his courage to sacrifice for the cause. Understand? First thing, he is not telling Ganesha, he is not telling Vyasa, stop, 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 I will run and get a pen. And this was not there in our agreement. No. Spontaneous decision making and courage to sacrifice his own tusk. That tusk means courage to sacrifice and spontaneous decision making power. So the upper two hands represents his inner space, pure blissful inner space. The lower right hand represents his ability to take spontaneous decisions and courage and sacrifice for the cause he has taken up. When these three are there, life is a sweet. That is what he means by having the sweet in the lower left hand. The elephant face represents the extraordinary awareness and sensitivity. The elephant's eyesight or the elephant's ability to smell is extraordinary. And his big pot belly represents the whole cosmos. The whole cosmos is inside him. He is the cosmic intelligence. And his mouth represents the playfulness. See, mouse, even though you have a little fear, it always creates a kind of a playfulness in you. The playful feeling. Whenever you see it, you start laughing. That is why the Tom and Jerry is so popular. The mouse can create a playful feeling inside your mind all over the world. All over the world in human consciousness, the mouse is always associated with playfulness. He is doing this whole thing so playfully.
Yes, we can now move on. So as you can see, tuning in to Ganesha means imbibing these qualities, where Ganesha holds the Ankusha, Pasha, the tusk and the Modak. The Ankusha represents unclutching the mind, which is the wild elephant that can be controlled with a small unpush-up, with a small unclutching. The pasha represents attachment, and he does not allow the thoughts to become attachment engram. The modak is the declaration that life will always be sweet like Ganesha's modak, and the tusk represents the ability to take spontaneous decisions and courage to sacrifice. So, the next slide. The unclutched, unattached, spontaneous courage to sacrifice inner space. When you manifest that, you will see life in the inner world and outer world will be like Ganesha's modaka, and the whole cosmos will be inside you. So now we will be going into the demonstration of Shaktis, the next segment of today's program. And we will each and every one of us be understanding the various different Shaktis of Paramashiva, the possibility which lies ahead of you. So I now invite the Nithyananda Gurukul Balasans who will be demonstrating for each and every one of us the various different powers of Paramashiva, how these powers actually work, what is the powers of Paramashiva, and how you can manifest these powers as well. So now the Nithyananda Gurukul Balasans from Adi Kailasa Sarvajna Peetham will be guiding us into the next segment of today's program. And we'll be beginning the manifestation of extraordinary Shakti.
Thank you so much, Manipti Sadashiv for that beautiful introduction to this power manifestation segment. So let us now move on and dive more deeper into this power manifestation session with the blessings of Lord Mahaganapati, as it is the auspicious day of Ganesh Chaturthi today. So today, all of you are going to be witnessing the Balasans, the Nithyananda yogis, and initiated disciples of the Supreme Conduct of Hinduism, demonstrating the extraordinary Shaktis of Paramashiva to all of you today. We will be demonstrating powers of third eye and body scanning, where all of you will be witnessing one awakening ability to be able to see through the cosmic browsing center, which is located between the two brows, and also the power of body scanning, where one awakens the ability to see and scan illnesses, diseases, medically diagnosed issues, and any problems through the third eye. So let us understand who is the source of all these Shaktis. Paramashiva is the primordial divinity in Hinduism, the ultimate reality and cause, which is self-present, Swayam Prakasha, all pervading, unchanging beyond time, space, form, and causality. Let us learn how we awaken these divine Shaktis in us. All these divine Shaktis are awakened in us through Diksha. And let us now see a small video which explains us the power of Diksha, the science of Diksha, and how we get initiated into these powers just by a look, word, or a touch by the divine, by the avatar.
Diksha is the direct transfer of spiritual energy by an enlightened being through look, word, or touch. The traditional Vedic book Navaratneshwara states, Sarvasamapi dikshanam muktihi phalamakhanditam avirodhat bhavantyeva prasangyastu bhuktayah. The main benefit of all initiations is moksha, enlightenment. As a side effect, health, wealth, leadership, and well-being happen. And in Rudrayamala Tantra, Shiva says, Devi Diksha Vihinasya na Siddhihi na cha Sadgatihi Tasmat Sarva Prayatnena Guruna Dikshito Bhavet. The one who is not initiated does not attain liberation nor a better future. So by all efforts, one should get initiated by Guru. What is the science of initiation? Neuroscience has proved that the process of initiation floods the brain with energy. This is the superconscious energy of Kundalini, our own highest inner potential energy. As the Kundalini flows from the thalamus to the cortex, it sets up a powerful energy loop within the brain, which awakens the latent non-mechanical parts which we have never used before. With increasing levels of coherence, the whole brain comes alive, turning into a superconductor of conscious energies that heal, empower, transform our lives, bliss and fulfillment. Initiation creates high awareness, visualization, creativity. It also slows the aging process and improves the immune system. Kundalini awakening, healing experience, levitation, teleportation, materialization. Experience the power of initiation through a range of exclusive programs conducted at the ashram. Nithyananda Dhyanapitham, Nithyananda.
And let us, with a beautiful video which explained what is Diksha, let us now understand the science of power manifestation. So the first is the Shastra Pramana, which is the eternal unchangeable truths, which are revealed in the source scriptures. So these are the Pramanas, which are the evidences, the four aspects of evidences that authenticates the power manifestation, the science of power manifestation. So the second is the Apta Pramana, the experiences and results of Aptas, Vedic rishis and scientists who have tested and verified this. Third is the Atma Pramana, the account of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. This millennium's avatar's personal experience of power manifestation. And last is the Pratyaksha Pramana, or the empirical evidence from observation and scientific experimentation. So let us now listen to the Shastra Pramana from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Dharana 11, Sutra 34. The Shastra Pramana goes, Kapalantarmanonyasa Tishtan Nilitalochanaha Kramena Manaso Dadyat Lakshaye Lakshamuttamam. The translation goes, by fixing the mind on the inner space within the crown center and sitting stably without any movement, having the eyes closed in succession, by that stability of the mind and inner space, through the power of the third eye, one directly sees the ultimate goal Lakshyam, by having the vision beyond the sight that reveals any object or place, attaining the space of oneness with the source Paramashiva. The next is the Apta Pramana, where Bhagavan Sri Krishna initiates Arjuna into the power of third eye. Bhagavan Krishna beautifully initiates Arjuna into the third eye by saying, Natumam shakyase drashtum manenaiva sachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogamaishwaram. The translation goes, but you cannot see my cosmic form with these physical eyes of yours. Therefore I grant the divine third eye, behold my cosmic opulence. The 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which contains the description of Bhagavan Sri Krishna's cosmic form, is completely narrated by Arjuna as he sees Bhagavan Krishna through the third eye. And Next is the Atma Pramana, where Swamiji beautifully shares his experience of how he was able to manifest this power. Let us directly hear in the words of Swamiji himself.
Inside and outside broke. The first experience is that I was able to see everything around me, above me, the whole 360-degree, 10 direction, below me, everything. I realized not only I was able to see, I was able to feel, experience. I felt that the skin of the stone on rock on which I was sitting and the skin of this body both carry me equally. In both I exist equally. The setting sun, rising moon, the whole Arunachala hill, all the plants, bush, shrubs, trees, everything, everything, everything. Just became so alive. The idea, something is inside.
Yes. Last is the Pratyaksha Pramana, the empirical evidence from observation and scientific experimentation. So, the study measures compares metabolic cell activity of the brain in conscious and meditative states using a possible emission tomography, the PET. So, when Swamiji was doing daily activities, so high activity, especially in the brain, while third eye is located, and when deep state of samadhi, only the third eye region is active and alive, and almost 90% of the brain is at rest and peace. So let us now witness a live Sakshi Pramana for the power of third eye reading done by the Balasins of the Nithyananda Paramashivam. I request the slides to stop being shared. Yes. So as all of you can see, I have two extraordinary Balasins along with me, Manitya Virajananda and Manitya Kaladhanananda, who are going to be demonstrating this extraordinary Shakti of the power of third eye to all of you today. And as all of you can see, I have the medically tested eye band with me. In front is a complete opaque sheet, and behind is a thick sponge. And you can see that there's no space, no gap between the eye band, and there's no possible way of light entering in the eye band. So this is a medically certified eye band, and it is completely medically and scientifically proven that even with the eyes open inside the eye band, no light can enter. So these are the eye bands I'm going to be placing on Ma Vidya and Ma Kaladra. So as you can see, I'm unstrapping this eye band in front of you and placing it on Ma Kaladra's eyes. Yes, Ma Kaladra, are you comfortable? Yes. Yes. So now, all of you now can see Ma Vidya's eye band. And I'm going to be unstrapping it in front of all of you and placing it on. Is Ma Virija, are you comfortable? Yes. Yes. So both Ma Virija and Ma Kaladra are completely comfortable. I request both of you to turn to your right, left, up, and down. Yes. So all of you can see that There is no gap between Ma Kaladra and Ma Virija's IBAN. I now request the YouTube comments to be projected. My Yogaprana? Yes. I would request you to retime my IBAN. It is coming out. Yes. It's becoming easy. As you can see, I have rewritten the IBAN. Kaladra, I requested to print here, right? Could you fix my IBAN to print also now? Now are you comfortable? Yes. I requested to print here, right? Left, up, and so I request all of you, all the viewers right now, go ahead and post any comment you want in the Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel on this auspicious day of the Ganesh Chaturthi. You can go ahead, post anything you want, medical terms, scientific terms, emojis, numbers, shapes, letters, anything you want. And Ma Virija and Ma Kaladra are going to be reading out your comments online. Yes, so the latest comment in the YouTube channel is by Ma Anda Maria on COU. And she has contributed to Kailasa. So thank you so much for contributing to Kailasa. And yeah, so let's now go ahead to Facebook comments. Yes. So Guru Prasad has Guru Prasad has posted boss. And before that, Elizabeth Day Mentos has posted Nithyanand Swamiji. Nithyanand Swamiji, and the comment before that is from Sri Nithya Amrita Pranananda, and he has posted 3 smiley emojis with 3 hearts on his face. And the previous comment is also from Sri Nithya Amrita Pranananda, and he has posted Om Kam Ganapati. All of you saw how Ma Virija and Ma Kaladra so beautifully were able to read the YouTube comments without any mistake or anything. Ma Virija and Ma Kaladra were so beautifully able to read it just as if their eyes are open. Yes, now the YouTube comments are being projected. I request all of you, all the viewers, to go ahead, post anything you want. Medical terms, scientific terms, words, paragraphs, sentences, letters, numbers, emojis, anything you want. And Ma Kaladra and Ma Virija reading out your comments live. And also, of course, as per what Paramashiva shows us, from the most detailed, we'll be revealing the comments which are there in front of us very precisely, including the colors, shapes, numbers, emojis, anything you post. Yes, and you can go ahead, like you can go ahead, post any emojis, random emojis together, and Ma Virija and Ma Kaladra will be reading out the pattern. You can go ahead and post. And so the Nitya Perumalaya has posted Nithyananda, and he has also posted he has also posted Happy Ganesh Chaturthi everyone with an exclamation mark. Yes, amazing. Ma Nitya Perumal has posted Nithyananda and Happy Ganesh Chaturthi everyone, and that is exactly what has been read out by Ma Kaladra. Amazing. That was a beautiful demonstration of this power of third eye. So now I'm going to be removing the IBAN of Ma Kaladra and Ma Virija. Yes. So you can see that Ma Virija's Saipan is completely intact along with Ma Kaladhara's Saipan. There's no change to that. Yes. So now you are going to be witnessing one more extraordinary Shakti. We have a few more minutes left, and you're going to be witnessing the extraordinary Shakti of the power of body scanning. Anyone who wants a body scanning, please go ahead and request in the Kailas as HDH Nithyananda YouTube channel, and the Balasins of the Nithyananda Gurukul will gladly be doing a body scanning for all of you. So we'll be back right after a short break.
Meanwhile, happy Ganesh Chaturthi for all of you watching us live right now. And you'll be having special darshan of Mahaganapati at 8 p.m. IST. Stay tuned for that. So this is just a preparation for the main mega thing to come up. So yeah. So please stay tuned and we'll be back right after a short.
Yes. So let us now witness the extraordinary Shakti of body scanning. Just before that, let us move on into the Pramanas. The Shastra Pramana for the power of body scanning comes from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 54. Swadehe jagato vapi sukshma sukshmataraani cha tattvani yani nilayam dhyatvante vyatyate para. The translation goes, cognize deeply that from the subtle to the subtlest constituted principles of your whole body, Swadeha, or of the whole universe, simultaneously consist of the essential reality. They are being absorbed in their source cause Paramashiva, and by the experience of such restful awareness, one becomes complete from all the thoughts, and the ultimate universal divine power, Paradevi Adi Shakti, is revealed and the supreme power manifestation happens. Next is the Apta Pramana from the life of Siddha named Teriyar. Teriyar was one of the prominent disciples of Agatyar, and one day a man suffering from a severe headache comes to Agatyar for scanning and healing. Agatyar uses the power of body scanning and reveals that there is a small type of Terai, a type of frog, sitting in a person's brain. And Agatyar immediately instructs his disciple Teriyar to perform an open head surgery and remove the frog. Teriyar immediately performs the open head surgery and completes it successfully and completely heals the man. Thus, the disciples gain the name Teriyar. Third is the Atma Pramana, which is from the life of his divine holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Where Swamiji beautifully says, paraphrase, who come on hand fracture was forced to go for surgery and therefore for medical checkups later. At that time, they detected heavy metal quantity in my different organs, and it was revealed that I had been poisoned without a harm. I immediately used diagnostic methods instead of medical facilities to study the body condition. And through the power of body scanning, I found out what the problems and imbalances had happened and why the balance had to be done. I used allopathy as a second opinion just to verify my findings. And last is the Sakshi Pramana. All of you can see disciples and devotees of Swamiji who beautifully shared their experience of the power of body scanning and how they were able to manifest this power of body scanning. And now you are going to be witnessing the live demonstration of this extraordinary Shakti done and being manifested by the Balasins at the Nithyananda. I request all of you to post your comments in the Kailasas SPH Nithyananda YouTube channel. You can post your request for the body scanning and we'll be back right after a short break. Yes. So I'm back with the Balasins of the Nithyananda Gurukul Vaniti Brahmayogananda, who is going to be demonstrating this extraordinary Shakti of the power of third eye body scanning today for all of you. So I request the YouTube comments to be projected. Okay. Ma Celine G has posted, Ma, can I have a body scanning for my relation with my dad? Yes, Ma, you can surely have a body scanning for your relation with your dad. Ma Brahmayoga, please go ahead. Quickly do the body scanning for Ma Celine G and reveal whatever Paramashiva reveals.
So Masaranji, I did the body scanning for your relation with your dad, and Parameshwar revealed to me that a solution, a way in which you can make the relation, your relation with your dad really good and really close is by praying to Ganesha, making Ganesha your Ishtadevata, always having his bhajans, his songs playing in the house, enriching the father about Ganesha. When he gets enriched about Ganesha, and when he actually sees a miracle happen in his life because of Ganesha, he'll get really connected to Ganesha and he'll feel so grateful to you, and both of your relations will become nice.
It's amazing. And Marceline, indeed, just tell your father and start enriching him about Ganesha as Paramashiva revealed through the third eye. And Bhagwan Mahaganapati will, of course, perform miracles. And just today, all of us, the Balasins of India and the Gurukul, had a very beautiful miracle in our life, had a very beautiful experience which happened in our life. Today, while we were doing the Mahaganapati Abhishekam, the moment just before the Abhishekam got over, when we turned and took a little flowers just off it, and then we saw there was kumkum which has materialized on Mahaganapati. So there was a lot of kumkum, and during the Abhishekam, we do not use kumkum at all. And there was so much of kumkum materialized on Mahaganapati, and the kumkum was completely dry. So Mahaganapati accepted the Abhishekam and also materialized kumkum, and it was a beautiful experience which all of us had today with Bhagwan Mahaganapati. So he will continue performing miracles in your life. Just be sincere and connect to Paramashiva, and you will be able to improve your relationship with your dad as Paramashiva revealed through the third eye. So with this, we thank all of you for joining us in this power manifestation segment. We would like to conclude this power manifestation segment due to the interest of time. If anyone was not able to get the body scanning, you can definitely come back every day at 2 a.m. IST and 4 p.m. IST and witness these extraordinary powers of Paramashiva being manifested by the Balasins of the Nithyananda. So with this, we would like to conclude this power manifestation session. We're going to be having Ma Madhura joining with us, who will be teaching all of us about the divine feminine consciousness, about who is Devi Parashi. We thank all of you for joining us. Thank you, Nithyananda. Yes. So we'll be moving on to the next segment right after a short break. Yes. So we'll be moving on to the next segment where you will be learning about Mahaganapati, Bhagwan Mahaganapati, and we'll be moving on to the next segment. Mamadra will be joining us right after a short break. Thank all of you for joining us. Thank you.
Now, let us begin the next segment in today's program and continue from where we were. Yes, we'll now watch this brief introduction to Mahaganapati Paramburul.
Ganesha, he embodies, symbolizes spontaneous completion celebration. He carries the elephant face, which represents the Omkara. His form is the ultimate, his name is the ultimate. Very happy about himself, very happy about the universe, very happy about his happening, everything. Just see him, you will be joyful. Very powerful, like his mother, easily pleased, like his father. Extremely compassionate. He is the ultimate boon giver. Enjoying, celebrating. He is beyond any procedures, systems. Mischievous, naughty. A modern day teenage kid who eats left and right happily. He doesn't come under any rule and he doesn't come under any regulation, but he has all the powers and he is embodiment of Sachidananda. As embodiment of Paramashiva, Mahaganapati Paramburul is sitting with joy and bliss and blessing all of us in Kailasa, listening to our prayers, removing all the obstacles, making all of us experience Paramashiva, oneness. He is really, really real. Even now, he is sitting in Kailasa with 25 elephant heads and 50 hands. As Mahaganapati, he is sitting now alive in Kailasa. He is alive. He is available. He is ecstatic. Invoke him. He is easy to approach. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Just repeat this and call upon him. Ganesha Chaturthi, the day Mahaganapati Ganesha happened. Neither trailer, nor suspense, or storytelling, nothing. Straight fact. You are going to see the Ganesha exactly how he is sitting now in Kailas.
And this beautiful photograph is from Ganesha Chaturthi in 1989. Circled in this photograph is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself. The first group of Kailasa's volunteers, as referred to by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, inspired and trained by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself. And Ganesha Chaturthi of 1989 is the earliest recorded public address and grand festival of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, which was organized by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, were the first volunteers and organizers of Kailasa.
And this event took place inside the Arunachaleshwara temple in Tirunelveli on the 5th circumambulation path inside the temple, where traditional Grand Ritu Ganesha consecrated under the banyan tree, and this banyan tree is actually from the same sapling as the one located in Adi Kailasa Nithyananda Paramashivam in Bengaluru Adinam. Karnataka.
To celebrate this momentous occasion, Alankaram was done by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, offered to Ganesha, and the photograph of this beautiful photograph is of the youth organizers of the occasion, and this photograph is the Alankaram which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself had done.
And the first adored deity of Lord Ganesha was worshipped by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism since the age of 3. So at the tender age of 3, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism exemplified the subtle sacred teaching of practicing the presence of God. And through this deity, even in mundane daily activities such as bathing, eating, sleeping, and other activities, thereby infusing the superconscious energy of the deity into each and every moment of life, which is the Hindu or Kailasa lifestyle. So in 1981, Lord Ganesha eats the food offered by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
And it is through this deity that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism teaches how to manifest any desired reality through deep bhakti, devotion, and tyaga, the blissful sacrifice. Once, when offering Naivedyam to Ganesha, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism decided not to eat, sleep, or even move until his beloved deity partook in his food offering. And responding to his intense tapas, Ganesha, the Lord who holds the divine joy in his hands as the Modaka, as Mudhakarata Modaka, appeared in front of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and ate the food which was offered to him.
And at that moment, Ganesha incarnated in the form of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as the fruition of his presence, and thenceforth, that tapas itself started serving the whole world with the science of enlightenment, Sadavimukti Sadhaka. And for this very reason, any spiritual seeker can experience the same transcendental experience of Ganesha just by listening or reading about his divine manifestation in the life of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
And today, millions are initiated into this same space of power manifestation and demonstrating the science of manifestation of gods the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has received.
Ganesha, he embodies, symbolizes spontaneous completion celebration.
He carries the elephant face, which represents the Omkara. His form is the ultimate, his name is the ultimate.
Very happy about himself, very happy about the universe, very happy about his happening, everything. Just see him, you will be joyful.
Very powerful, like his mother. Easily pleased, like his father.
Extremely compassionate.
He is the ultimate boon giver.
Enjoying, celebrating. He is beyond any procedures, systems. Mischievous, naughty.
A modern day teenage kid who eats left and right happily. He doesn't come under any rule and he doesn't come under any regulation, but he has all the powers and he is embodiment of Sachidananda.
As embodiment of Paramashiva, Mahaganapati Paramburul is sitting with joy and bliss and blessing all of us in Kailasa, listening to our prayers, removing all the obstacles, making all of us experience Paramashiva, oneness. He is really, really real. Even now, he is sitting in Kailasa with 25 elephant heads and 50 hands.
And the Shastra Pramana for this comes from the Vedas and Agamas, and it speaks about how the power of devotion and its powerful manifestation from Paramashiva's onwards. So it says, Bhaktyudreka dviraktasya yade matihi sa shakti shankari nityam bhavayetam tata shiva. And this comes from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 21, Dharana 96. And the translation for this verse is, by the intensity of devotion or pure love for the divine, when the detachment arises in your mind beyond the intellect, that is the Shakti of Shankari, the power of divine consciousness. The intellect, Mati, is transformed into divine consciousness. Then, by the constant space of devotion, you will become one with Shiva.
Now, we'll be understanding from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself the beautiful narration of the incident from his life on feeding Ganesha and how Ganesha manifested through his very beloved deity.
I can tell this story which happened in my life. It's a little mystical, but it is truth. So I'll share with you all. The young age, I used to go to the many satsangs. So every day some satsangs, something will be going on. Those days I used to have small Ganesha with me, and I'll do puja every day to that Ganesha. I'll pour water, put little food in front of Ganesha and wave the lights, wave the camphor. It was really like I was living with him. It was not just doing some little puja or anything. Living with him. Strong feeling connection. See, if you are just doing puja for some other reason, you will never enter into that place again second time. I have seen many people doing puja. Morning they will go into that puja room, dum-dum, 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 dum. They will roll with that deity and pour water or whatever needs to be done. Once they come out, they will never even turn that side again. Because it is such a heavy routine on them, dead routine on them, they never do the mistake of entering into that same room again second time. But with me it was like a living with him. Whole day I'll be sitting, fanning him, or doing whatever I can. Anything given to me, I'll bring it and put it in front of him. I was living with him, small boy. I went to one satsang. That teacher, Acharya, who was talking, he was narrating an incident from a saint's life. His name is Nambiyandar Nambi. He was born and brought up in South India. Great saint. His life story that master was describing, it's a very beautiful story that used to worship one Ganesha in one Ganesha temple every day. Father fell sick. Then he asked the son, please you go on, do the worship. Then son goes with the food and all the worship articles. He does the sacred bath and does all the things and puts the food in front of Ganesha. And the son thinks really Ganesha will eat every day. He is doing first time. So he thinks Ganesha is supposed to eat. And he is sitting, waiting for Ganesha to eat. Half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, food is there. And this guy started worrying. What happened? Did I do anything wrong? You are not eating. And he started talking. Of course, no response. Then he started telling, if you don't eat, if I go back, my father may fire me. He may shout at me. Please do something. If I have done some mistakes, forgive me. Please eat. Of course, Ganesha is very silent. If they start eating, who will put the food in front of them?
Anyhow, he was silent. Then he became very serious. The Nambi, the saint, he became very serious. He said, no, you have to eat. Please eat. Otherwise, see the Shraddha, beautifully the Upanishad says, Kathopanishad says, Shraddha Vivecha. When he is describing about Nachiketa, the Upanishadic hero, they use the word Shraddha Vivecha. He was possessed by Shraddha. Sometime, rarely this happens to even you. You can see, some very difficult time, suddenly you decide, I'll be very straight and honest and dharmic. I'll not bend. You know, if you little adjust, tell one lie, or alter the word, you can escape from the situation. It can be eased, but suddenly sometime you feel, no, I'm going to be very straight. Come whatever may. Those few moments, you are possessed by Shraddha, the truth. Shraddha Vivecha, a very powerful word. Possessed by Shraddha, truth, trust. That Shraddha Vivecha happened to this Nambi. Suddenly, he felt Ganesha has to eat. He has to eat. He starts weeping. He says, till you eat, I am not going to leave this place. 5-6 hours over, but food is there, Ganesha is sitting. Then he goes to the extreme, suicidal threat. He says, I'll hit my head in the steps and die if you don't eat. And starts hitting his head. Of course, don't try. The TV, the motor ads, the car ads, they say, closed lanes and professional drivers, don't try. Same way, saints tried, you don't try. When that Shraddha Vivecha happens, you are in a different plane. Even the doubt does not exist. He just knows that Ganesha is going to eat. He started hitting his head, and the story says, suddenly Ganesha appeared and ate the food and blessed him. When that saint, that small boy, he goes back to his father. Father asks, what happened? Where is the food? He said, Ganesha ate. Father could not believe. Ganesha ate or did you eat? He said, no, Ganesha ate. If you want, come. I'll show you. Then he takes the father. There, the father sees the mouth of Ganesha, the food, the remains. The story says, father fell at the feet of the son, said, all these years, I was only doing it as a ritual. You made it as reality. You made it as truth. When I heard this story, suddenly I decided, I'll also feed Ganesha. That Shraddha Vivecha happened. Means possessed by that Shraddha. Strong. See, when you are possessed by Shraddha, you will not have Kudarka at all. Understand? You will not have Kudarka. You may ask me, why? When you heard the story of Nambi, you tried, but you are telling us not to try. See, in my case, there was no Kudarka at all. If there is no Kudarka, you are also a professional. You can try. But you see inside, one corner of you, there is a Kudarka. That's why I am saying, till that Kudarka disappears, don't try. Especially these risky techniques. I decided, I'll also make Ganesha eat. Let me tell you what all the mistakes I did and how I had this Kudarka. See, when I heard the story, I decided, I will also make my Ganesha eat. This is Darka, simple logic. When he made Ganesha to eat, why not me? Simple darka. The next step was
Yes, now we'll be watching a video on Kutarka as Swamiji narrates.
See, in my house, it's a joint family. I had one old lady, one of my grandmothers. Means it's like many people will be staying, you don't know who is who and who is what. And not only that, 3-4 streets are relatives. That's the way the Indian communities will live. The 3-4 street will be your cousin, cousin brother, nephew, name it, and they will be there. And they will marry just inside the family and relatives. So, this old lady, if the kids are not eating, she will always threaten them. Hey, I'll put you inside the well. The center of the house, there will be a huge well. I'll put you in the well. She will shout. So I heard only that logic. So naturally, I went and put a little food in front of Ganesha and told him, eat now. When I saw half an hour he did not eat, I started using the same thing. Hey, I'll put you in the well. Kudarka, please understand. Because I heard only that, see, this satsangi, the teacher, he taught me darka. This environment, this old lady, she taught me kudarka. The same way, I started shouting. I told, she will use all the old Tamil words to threaten. I started using all those words. Better you eat now, or you are going to be in the well. And Ganesha was there silently. I decided, I am going to put him in the well. And usually what she does, I have seen, she will take the kid in the hand and take little food in the other hand, and she will show the well. See, I'll drop you, drop you. These kids will shout, cry. They'll open the mouth, she will put the food inside. When the kids start crying, they will actually open the mouth, she will put the food inside. Then it will go. That's the way she will feed. I decided I will also do the same thing with Ganapati, with that Ganesha. I took the Ganesha in one hand and food in the other hand. I showed the well, hey, see the well, I'll throw you inside. And he's not opening the mouth. I tried 2-3 times. Then I decided there used to be a vessel in which they will take the water from the well. I put the Ganesha in that vessel. I started lowering, threatening him. See, I'll really drown you. I'll really drown you. And when the vessel was about to touch the water level, suddenly I realized, maybe now he would have changed the mind and he wants to eat, but there is no food in the vessel. So I brought him out, put the food also in the vessel, and started doing again. And it was almost in the water level, that vessel. That bucket is in the water level. Thing is happening. I did not have the mind to really put the Ganesha into the water also. It was too much. He really means a lot for me. And it's a very strong relationship. So I can only threaten. I cannot put him in the well, actually. So what to do? Finally, I took him out. I said, all right. Maybe he did not like the cooking. He did not like the food. See how the Kudarka works. Kudarka says everything is wrong except you. Understand? That is the Kudarka. Kudarka means everything is wrong except you. Then I started thinking the food is not right. My mother is not cooking properly. I went to the temple. The temple, they offer food to the deities. I thought that food is eaten by deities every day. So I went to the cook, the temple cook. I used to do a lot of voluntary work. Even the young boy, I'll go to the temple and wash the vessels, clean the floor. All the kids, that is the only entertainment. That's the only entertainment, and I used to do a lot of that kind of work. So I asked that cook, will you give me a little food for my Ganesha? So he said, what little food? Have more. He gave one big lot. I brought it to the house and said, see, I brought the same diet which you are eating in the temple every day. Now there is no reason, no excuse. Come on, eat. And I was sitting. Maybe 3-4 hours. He was not eating. I said, now right diet I brought, I am not going to let you today. So again I put him in that bucket and started the same drama. And then actually, by then I memorized all the abusive words my grandmother tells to make a child eat. All those words like a sloka I memorized and started repeating. I really thought that those words are very powerful. They will make him eat. And all the techniques I tried with my whole diet. I tried everything step by step with this new diet. And I put him in the bucket and again started drowning, almost in the water level. So from here I started shouting. I even started asking, are you listening to what I am saying? Whether the sound is audible. Then, of course, he was not eating. But I could not drown him because it's a very strong relationship, very loving relationship. So what to do? I took him out. I can say I was really depressed, very worried, and very strong depression, completely low mood. Just I was sitting, what to do?
So, the Supreme Point of Hinduism says, somebody asked me, Swamiji, why in our graveyards, tombstones, we put the date of birth and the date of death? I tell them, in common man's life, nothing much happens between the two. That is only thing which can be mentioned. Nothing else is worthy of mentioning. So what else to tell? Birth and death. Over. So Kudirka keeps you in a very shallow way. So now let's do a small internalizing exercise for a few minutes. So you can pen down 3 incidents in your life when you negated simple possibilities of life with Kudirka. For example, Swamiji's avatar. He may manifest powers. I have so many fears. I do not. I cannot. So, like this, you can pen down 3 incidents in your life when you negated the simple possibilities of life with Kutarka. So all of you can do this exercise for a few minutes. Yes, let us now move on. So now let's all watch a video where Swamiji speaks about Vitarka, where Swamiji in his own words explains the Vitarka, science of Vitarka.
Practically, I fixed all the problems. What I am supposed to do. See, if my grandmother does all these things to any child, the child eats. And I know only those techniques. I don't know any other techniques. I have not read any book how to feed Ganapati or how to feed kids. Whatever manual was there in front of me, that whole thing I worked. Nothing works. Nothing is working. So I was sitting. The Ganapati was lying there. So I was sitting. One nice thing with Shraddha, trust is, even if you start with Kudarka, the power of trust is such, the power of Shraddha is such, it turns the whole thing to Vidarka. Please understand, the power of trust is such, even if you start with the wrong logic, it turns the whole thing to right logic. Because the trust is not just energy or logic, it is intelligence. Intelligence with logical energy. Darka is logic, Kudarka is negative logic, and Vidarka is trust with positive energy and logic. The Shraddha is so powerful. Suddenly some God, I can say this was one of the powerful click happened in my life. Very strong click. I realized that Nambiyanda Nambi, that saint who made Ganesha to eat, that saint tortured himself, not Ganesha. But here I am torturing Ganesha, not myself. That strong click, that Kudarka became Vidarka. The wrong reasoning became right reasoning. When the click happened, I thought, right. Yes. Nambiyanda Nambi found fault with himself when Ganesha did not eat. When Lord Ganesha did not eat the food, he found the fault with himself, not with Ganesha or not with something else, not with the diet. He was not complaining about outside. He turned inside. In my case, I was complaining about Ganesha. I was trying what my granny was trying, and I was talking about the diet, and I was thinking that my mother is not cooking properly, and I was thinking everything outward. I was doing Kudarka. I was finding. Suddenly I realized, yes, I have to turn and look in. Look in. The problem must be within me. Let me work. That Vitarka click has happened. The right reasoning, that click has happened. Please understand. It was a very strong click. Yes. With Nambiyanda Nambi, he did tapas. But in my case, I am torturing Ganesha. Let me do tapas. When the click happened, see, a strong Shraddha is already there. Shraddha is like a loaded gun. When that right Vidarka happens with Shraddha, it's like a triggering the gun. Without Shraddha, without that strong trust, the Kudarka can never become Vidarka. The wrong reasoning can never become right reasoning. With Shraddha, when the right reasoning happens, trigger was pulled. Just the trigger was pulled. The loaded gun. Trust is like a loaded gun. Right reasoning happens, Vidarka happens. It's triggered. The trigger is pulled. Understand? Suddenly the click happened. Yes. It's time. I look inside. I turn inside and change something in me. Then I decided, now I am not going to eat till Ganesha eats. It's a strong will. Even in those days, I used to be very strong. Strong will. Once I decide, it has to happen. That's all. I was sitting with Ganesha, brought the food, arranged everything. I was sitting. Actually, I used to have a small shrine, kind of temple, backside of the house, my own. I'll be staying and spending time only in there. I can say that is the first ashram I built for myself and for my deities. I used to be spending my time there only. So nobody will disturb me in the house. Usually they will send the food, or I'll go and bring my food for the food time. Otherwise, I'll be spending time there only. So I sat with all the arrangements for Ganesha to eat. I'm very clear, because of the trust, that Shraddha, no doubt that he may eat, may not eat. See, if he does not eat, there is some problem with me, that's all. But the very incident itself, there is no doubt. The possibility, the Ganesha came and ate in that Nambiyandar Nambi's life, that incident is a reality for me. The factuality of that incident, I never questioned. When the right reasoning happened, with the trust, I was sitting with the Ganesha, one day over, and the food is there. I was very strong. No question of eating. No question of eating. Till you eat. So I'll go and bring food from the house and keep the food in front of Ganesha, and I'll sit. I'll remove the old food, throw it away, and sit. One day was over. One night was over. And I was not even sleeping. I was sitting. And again, second day is also over. I was very strong. See, a small boy without food, naturally the logic will be imbalanced. The willpower will come down. I said, nothing doing. I'm going to do it. Till he eats, I'm not going to eat. Maybe third day, I touched that zone when this trust and vitarka, right reasoning, both became part of the very bio-memory, the prarabdha, the very system. That is when that explosion happened. Suddenly, I can say, it's surely not unconscious. I fell into some state, and I saw very clearly Ganesha sitting in front of me and eating. If it hurts your kudarka, I am sorry. Again, but I have to tell you the truth. When I opened my eyes and saw, I promise there was no food. The food disappeared. Whatever way you want to understand, but the food was not there. And I know Ganapati ate. Maybe people with kudarka can tell, who knows, when you were closing eyes, some rat would have come and ate. Whether Ganesha ate, his mouse ate, let the Kudarkis decide. Kudarkis think about that. I don't know about that. But I know for sure Ganesha ate. Because, see, when he eats, he gives you some prasada. Means he gives you some benefits, the boons, a strong trust, an extraordinary ecstasy. Those are the prasadas, gifts, boon from the Lord. I have received that prasada. It means I know, yes, he ate. I have had that prasada. I had that experience in me. So I know he ate. Even though very difficult, see, when you read this story in some Purana, some master's life, you can relate because he's not there physically in front of you. But here I am sitting, alive, and I am telling this story. It looks too much. It feels too much. But what to do? When an enlightened person happens in the body, he brings all the great truths to life. He brings everything back to life. Sometimes people ask me, why did you do so many tapas, so much of spiritual practices, Swamiji? Like this puja, this feeding Ganesha. Why you need to do all these things? You are after all born enlightened. You could have expressed your enlightenment directly. I said, no. Expressing enlightenment is one thing. Bringing all these truths back to life through every incident, through every ritual, through every technique, is the purpose of an enlightened being landing in the body. Even though it looks little strong, understand what I said is honest truth. It's a honest. The power of these words, the truth and strength behind these words will directly work on you. You don't even have to believe. You don't even have to have darka or kudarka. You will see the power of these words because this is vidarka, this is satya. It will create automatically the right vidarka in you, the right reasoning in you. I wanted you to understand this incident so that you understand about that vidarka. Please understand. When I heard that master's story and started thinking, when he can, why not me? That is darka. When I started trying the wrong method, wrong technique, it's kudarka. And because of my trust, when the right thing clicked, it is vidarka. And it leads to samprajnata samadhi. That is what Patanjali calls here. The vidarka leads to samprajnata samadhi, means samadhi with the experience of a form. What I had is a samprajnata samadhi with Ganesha. When he came out and started eating, that's called samprajnata samadhi. One level of samadhi. It's like a experience, spiritual experience with the form of the God, with the form of the existence. All the enlightened masters' forms are the expressions of the existence. If you have samadhi experience with that, means all other thoughts have disappeared. Only your master's form is there in front of you. You are having samprajnata samadhi. Sometime, even while you are working, I have seen many of our devotees come and tell me, Swamiji, morning whole day, I was cooking, washing and doing all my work. But as an undercurrent, constantly your memory was there inside, Swamiji. It was so sweet. I was just filled with you. I don't know. I was not able to forget you. This is what we call in Sanskrit, Leela Dhyana. Constantly being in the meditation of a divine Leelas. When the Leela Dhyana gets matured, you enter into Samprajnata Samadhi. That's what was happening with me in the Ganesha's thing.
Whole day I'll be playing with Ganesha as if I was living with him. I was literally living with him. Whole day, whatever I do will be centered on the Ganesha. Morning, if I get up, I'll make him get up. And before I drink, I'll give water to him. After I brush the teeth, I'll have a small stick to brush his teeth. And after I take bath, I'll give bath to him. Once I put on the cloth, I'll put clothes for him. Once I apply that holy ash, I'll put the holy ash on him and sandal on him. I lived with him. Leela Dhyana was happening. Leela Dhyana, meditating on or strongly feeling connected, starts building up the right reasoning, vitarka, in your life.
Yes, let's go on. So understand that vitarka is the right reasoning. Vitarka means connecting a step above logic. Vitarka means the right reasoning beyond the simple logic or negative reasoning, the right reasoning. The way in which you think, the way in which thoughts are created in your system. If it leads you to peak potential for experience, which you are hardwired for, you are having vitarka, means the right reasoning. And there's a point at which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, at a very young age, mere age of 3 years old, he had the Shraddha Vivecha, meaning being possessed by Shraddha, the authenticity. When you are possessed by Shraddha, you will not have vitarka at all. If this vitarka is developed in your system, please understand you have a channel open for you to create miracles in your life, and you are superhuman.
So please understand, it's like a difference between having a 10-channel TV, a 10-channel network, and a 100-channel network. But somehow, if you're developed with the right vitarka, the right logic, or right reasoning, that is this form of a Devi. If you connect to this Devi, the Mother Nature works for you. You will connect with Mother Nature.
If you are brought up with this right reasoning, with this right vitarka, you have like 100-channel dish, 100-channel TV network. Now you have that unique capability of expressing miracles in your life, attracting miracles in your life. And your very being, your very consciousness is capable enough of creating miracles. This is the exact way the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself manifested Ganesha through his deity and offered the Naivedyam, and Ganesha manifested and accepted that Naivedyam. And in fact, even after this incident, his guru, Yogi Yogananda Puri, every single day, once he knew that this incident had happened, and Swamiji had the darshan of Ganesha, every single day, Yogi Yogananda Puri would bow down to the altar of Ganesha and say that for thousands and thousands of years, that very same Ganesha, deity of Ganesha, will be worshipped.
And in the civilization, the Indian civilization was brought up with that vitarka, the right reasoning, the greatest civilization. Otherwise, you cannot imagine how millions of people standing and spending hundreds of years just building temples. There is no question of machineries at that point in time. Everything was physically hand carved.
And because the whole civilization, the whole Hindu civilization, was built on the right logic, vitarka, there were so many advanced technologies. From the young age of a Hindu child, the vitarka was taught, the right reasoning was taught. And because of that right reasoning, the vitarka, every single member of the civilization was able to experience the gods and goddesses. They were able to literally traverse multi-dimensions and be able to travel the whole universe. All the 14 lokas, everything was accessible to a person. And they were able to experience the great truths of Sanatana Hindu Dharma and those great energies of all the gods and goddesses.
And all of them being brought up with the right reasoning, I can say that the worst thing happened is, I can say this is the worst thing happened in India. So losing the faith, losing the trust over their own Puranas, or the Kutarka, the negating logic, happening towards their own Puranas.
Unfortunately, this has happened over so many years. There's been so much of destruction of the Hindu Puranas and the Hindu scriptures, even libraries being burnt to ashes over thousands of years. In fact, the Nalanda University was one of the largest libraries. In fact, if I can say, the largest library that existed at that time, but it was burnt down. And not only that, it took more than 6 years for it to be burnt down completely. The Mughal invasions had continuously burnt it down. That is the worst crime that is done to humanity. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the only being, the only Hindu leader who is running the largest movement to revive these ancient Hindu scriptures and revive the right reasoning, the Vitarka. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself says, such an ecstasy to live in this body with what I call consciousness or mental setup. It's purely the only reason, the bringing up, where I lived and grew, the possibility, the energy of the right reasoning, the Vitarka was alive. And Swamiji continues, it is time we remind our civilization what we lost and bring our civilization back to Vitarka, the right reasoning.
And whatever will be the field if you are based on Vitarka only, then you will be expressing what needs to be expressed. You will be serving the humanity. When you do Vitarka, the right reasoning, it will lead to Ananda, bliss. And actually, the whole cosmos is inside you. If you just look inside, the whole thing is beyond your logic or reasoning. There is no logic, there is no reasoning. So actually, if you look inside, all the reasoning, all the logics are only at a certain level.
Vitarka, the feeling connection with the Supreme Pontiff with the Guru, is one of the ultimate gifts which happens to a human body, who has grown at least to a certain level in the subtle understanding that only they smell even the presence of the Master. Only they have the courage to even enter into the great feeling connection, because feeling connection with the Guru will just make you as an enlightened being. Vitarka is going beyond all logical reasoning, everything, and simply connecting with the Guru without any reason needed inside of you. It is feeling connection with the Master.
And Vitarka leads you to depth. Swamiji says, I can say translate the word Vitarka as friendly logic. A logic which does not have chili, which is ready to expand, which is ready to step beyond its boundaries, which is ready to jump above itself. So just sit with little Vitarka. You will see a strong, intense transformation happening in you, a strong energy experience happening in you.
Can we go to the next slide, please? Yes. So understand, Vitarka is the feeling connection with the Guru. And today we have none other than the incarnation of Paramashiva himself as our Guru. From the right reasoning of Vitarka, rewrite the new possibilities and understandings you derived for the 3 incidents that you had approached with Vitarka. Any incident that you had written down previously in this exercise, we had briefly, if you're joining for the first time, we had briefly written all of the incidents, or just 3 incidents, that we had the wrong logic, or the kutarka, the negating logic. If you've written this down, now rewrite the new possibilities and understandings you derive for the 3 incidents that you approached with kutarka. Now approach the situation saying, my Guru is Paramashiva. He is much bigger than my hatred and self-denial, and I will literally manifest powers. Just this beautiful cognition, you will see how there's such a shift in your space and a transformation inside of you. So go ahead and just take a few minutes right now. You can take just 5 minutes and write down the new possibilities and understandings you derive for the 3 incidents that you approached with kutarka. And again, the example is the new possibilities, the vitarka that you can hold, the right reasoning, saying, my Guru is Paramashiva. He is much bigger than my self-doubt, my self-hatred, and my self-denial. Let me simply surrender to him, and I know I will just manifest the power. So just take a few minutes now and deeply analyze anything that you wrote down before. If you'd like, you can also take a few minutes and finish the exercise from before and finish writing down any of the incidents where you approached life with kutarka. And then write down, see that whole incident from the perspective of vitarka, the right reasoning. So let's take a few more minutes just on this internalizing exercise. See, there's only few very simple ways that you can experience Mahaganapati today. One is by just simply listening to the great truths of Mahaganapati and the experience of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, which is in itself an initiation for you to experience, for you to manifest Shaktis. And second is by internalizing, by imbibing. If you internalize, if you apply all these teachings in your life, in your power, in your cognitions about yourself, about life, about the others around you, then you will deeply see how the shift can happen inside of you. So once again, I'm just going to reiterate this internalizing exercise. From the right reasoning of Vitarka, rewrite possibilities and understandings you derived for the three incidents that you had approached with Vitarka. And that being any experience that you had, any kind of any even kind of relationship that you might have, or anything, you can just simply see and visualize that whole incident taking place in your inner space, and simply decide to view the whole incident with the right reasoning and the vitarka, and then rewrite the new possibilities from that incident. Just think, my guru is Paramashivoham. He is much bigger than all of my self-doubt, self-hatred, self-denial, whatever it might be. And I will manifest powers. This is the new possibility. This one possibility you can apply in all the different situations in your life. You will see how that brings so much of power in your life, so much of relief, so much of healing, and so much of love and joy. So once again, let's take a few more minutes and do this exercise where you are just applying the right reasoning, the vitarka in your life. Yes. Now let's move on. I hope that everyone has taken a few minutes and literally been able to see how you can manifest vitarka in your life. Now, we'll be moving on into the next segment, which is the science of manifesting the power of feeding Ganesha, the manifesting Nityatva.
So just like length is one of the real dimensions of universe, eternity is the real dimension of you. So please understand how you believe length, breadth, and depth as a fact and as a truth of the existence, the same way eternity is the truth of the existence. And that is what I'm trying to tell you. So catch this. Nityatva, eternity is the truth of your existence.
And sometimes the length may change, but the depth won't change. Sometimes depth may change, but breadth won't change. Sometimes breadth may change, but time won't change. Sometimes time may change, but space won't change. In this, like this, there is a constant, the nityatva inside of us, which is eternal.
So that dimension of Nitya is alive in everything. And that makes sure that everything does not change in everything at a time. So listen carefully. The more and more you remember that you have the Nitya component in you, the eternal component in you, that is when you will more and more become fearless.
It's one of the dimensions of the universe. And because you are part of the universe, there's the component of nityatva, the eternal in you. The more and more you enjoy that eternal component of you, more and more you're able to cognize and believe and celebrate that eternal component of you. And now, through this program, through this course, you'll be able to recognize that component of you, the nityatva component of you. You can even just understand for yourself what is it that is eternal inside of you.
So the wealth that you make will be based on eternal principles, very powerful long-term strategies. You will not become a billionaire overnight. You will not go overnight. You will not declare bankruptcy overnight. And you will, but you will be a very, if you will be very brilliant, then you will be a wealthy person. And the journey towards wealth will not be painful. It will not have lots of suffering, or it will not be torturous for you and for others as well. So understand this is the beauty.
And the beauty of a person who rests in his eternity is that he will be in such extraordinary joy and peace. He knows where to use his inspiration, where to use fear, where to use greed. He will never harm people. He will be non-violent. Paramashanta. Because Swamiji himself is Paramashanta, no harm can come to him. And despite so many attacks, despite so much of abuse against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in so many different kinds of ways, whether you take the cyberbullying or even the physical attacks while Swamiji was in India in 2010 to 2018, whether it is anything, because Swamiji was in that space of non-violence, Paramashanta, because he is Paramashanta Swarupa, no karma came to him. And even if you declare that you will be in that pure space of nityatva and you rest in that eternal portion of you, you will also be in that space of extraordinary joy and peace. You will understand how to navigate your life, and you will see and experience Paramashanta and experience that no karma will come to you.
And Nityatva is the space where matter becomes energy, and energy becomes matter. And that happens just like It happens very easily. It will just happen out of the will, and nothing else is actually required other than your will to manifest. And matter becoming antimatter and antimatter becoming matter, or again antimatter, matter becoming antimatter, nullifying each other, matter and antimatter nullifying each other, and becoming energy. All these actions are like in the Brahmandas, universes, how the Brahmandas and universes get created, which are the universes get created, and how Big Bangs get created, black holes get created. All happens just by will. There is no effort or no other thing. It just happens by will.
Even if you just intellectually start analyzing inside of you, I am eternal, and you continuously say, I am eternal. Oh, I'm going to be here forever. What does that mean? Then whatever I feel as me is going to be here forever. Then I should make more and more friends all over the world by sharing more and more. You'll just see simply more and more love and more joy becomes spread. And you'll be creating more and more good things, empowering more and more people with these powerful cognitions. You will see how simply it happens inside of you. If you start in even just if you start intellectually analyzing, I am eternal and I'm going to be here forever.
And when you understand about each dimension, you become a master of that dimension. When you understand about eternity, you become the master of all the powers related to eternal dimensions. And once you understand that the eternity dimension, the universe is different for you, that is why I'm saying, Swamiji says, that once you understand eternity, you live in a different plane. Your body may be in the physical plane, but you live in a different plane.
And Swamiji goes on to explain the eternal dimension of the universe. He says, sometimes length changes, but breadth will not change, meaning the two dimensions. Breadth changes, but length will not change. Depth changes, but time will not change. And time changes, space will not change. Because like length, breadth, time, space, eternity is one of the dimensions of the universe, the living dimension of the universe.
And eternity is one of the dimension of you, any dimension of you. You can decide to make it as an eternal dimension. You can decide to make even all your dimensions into the eternal dimension. See, deciding to make your whole body into eternal is what is Swarupa Samadhi. The eternal dimension of you is a power. So you can add that into anything of you. If you add that into your body, you will have healing.
And it takes nothing, no extraordinary great tapas that you need to do, no intense practice or sadhana, just the grace of the in order to manifest Nityatva, this beautiful, powerful cognition and experience.
So whether we understand it or not, cognize it or not, the happening of the living incarnation of Paramashiva in our life as a guru is the greatest miracle in our life. So let's understand the guru through Paramashiva's own words, where Paramashiva himself explains the importance of guru and who a guru is in the Guru Gita.
Yes, and each and every one of us always is graced today with the grace of the incarnation of Paramashiva himself as the Guru. In the Guru Gita is Bhagavan Paramashiva himself singing the glories of the Guru, which are told in the verses, with the most perfect disciple, his own divine consort Parashakti. Parashakti seated on his lap, Paramashiva sings the praises of the being to whom he himself fully prostrates.
So from the Guru Gita, verse 20, Paramashiva says in this verse, Yoguratsa Shiva Prokto Yashiva Saguro Smritaha Vikalpam Yastu Kurvita Sanaro Gurutalpagaha. And the translation is, he who is Guru of Shiva himself, so declares the scriptures. And he who is Guru is Shiva himself, so declares the scriptures. And the truth that Shiva is Guru is reminded in the Smritis, the remembered scriptures. One who makes any distinction between the two commits the crime of uniting with one's Guru's wife.
And there's another beautiful verse from the Guru Gita where the translation says, to contemplate the form of one's Guru is to contemplate the infinite Paramashiva. To sing the glory of the Guru's name is to sing the glory of the infinite Paramashiva.
So if you meditate on this space of Nityatva, you will be able to understand that even if you intellectually repeat this inside your inner space, that is okay. So because today, as all of us will be receiving the initiation with the blessings of Mahaganapati, you will all manifest the power of feeling Mahaganapati Paramburu.
And once again, there's another verse from the Guru Gita where it says, the water of the Guru's feet is the holiest water. He is the holy center of Gaya, the holy band, and the most sacred Prayaga, the confluence of the three holy rivers. Salutations again and again to the Guru. We can go on. So understand that there are so many ways today that you can experience the dimension of Nityatva. Today, in just a short time, we will be having the Bhava Samadhi Darshan of Bhagwan Ganesha, and we'll be able to connect with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who will bless and initiate each and every one of us into this extraordinary power. In just a short time, you will be able to see how you can experience this for yourself. Now, we will be understanding in the next segment more and more on Ganapati and Mahaganapati, how to manifest the extraordinary space of Nityatva. And all over the world, we have seen how so many people have manifested the Shakti of Nityatva and manifested the Shakti of feeding Ganesha. And that is one of the most ultimate ways that you can experience today. By the end of this program, you will be able to experience that for yourself and see for yourself exactly how the dimension of Nityatva literally plays in your life. If you just cognize